Hey y'all, welcome to the Filling Station. It's a new day, another opportunity to either make money in the market or to just learn from the market. But first, let me give my disclaimer. I am not a financial advisor. I just enjoy teaching people how to build generational wealth. And yes, the stock market is just one of those avenues. So this video is for educational purposes only. With that being said, let's get started. We are looking at the VIX. And, I like to look at the VIX because it gives me an idea of what's going on with the SPY. And as of right now, this is interesting that the VIX has made a high of 1950. It looks like we're trying to come back down. So where are the trouble places as of now? We can find support at 1886. Again here at 1871. Which brings us back to 1844 and 1832, which was a zone for us. Now, if we break that level, we can come back to this 1803. Breaking the 1803, there's several layers of support for the VIX, and I would say under the 1790, we could very well come back to this area, which is 1776. So now back to the upside. If by chance we break above this 1950, we could very well come back to the $20.01. I remember that 2001. And if we should break that level, $20.02. So those are trouble places or support and resistance places for the VIX. Normally, when the VIX is down, the SPY is up. That's normally. Now, that's not always the case. Let me say it that way, right? So as of now, we're looking at the SPY. SPY closed at 588.63. It looks like we have come down to find some support here at 586.67. We knew that this could be a support area for us. So where are the trouble places? Let's say back to the upside. Well, continuing to the downside. If by chance we break under 586.67, we could very well come back to this area 586.30. If we break that 586.30, there's several layers of support here, so I will watch that 586.08. If we should break that level, 585.81 could be a support area. And if we break that 585.56. If we break that 585.56 area, I would watch the 585.29 and again at 585.06. Breaking that 585.06, we can come back to 584.64 and again at 584.42. Again, I look at support and resistance on a much smaller scale because when I'm in the trade, I need to know where I could possibly have trouble, right? So back to the upside for the SPY. If by chance we break back above 588.13, we could possibly have trouble at 588.92, 589.46, again at 590.16. If we break that 590.16, it brings us back to the ATR trailing stop around 590.54 and that 50 EMA. So I would definitely watch this area, 590.59 area. For the SPY. Breaking beyond that, we could possibly have trouble 590.89, which is not far away. And if we should break that level, we could possibly have trouble 591.57. Which is right where the 200 EMA is. So if you're trading the SPY today could be a very interesting trading day, considering yesterday we were at the 597 all the way down to the low of this candle, which was around 588.85. We went up slightly, got rejected, only to come back down. So are we going to try to go up just a little bit and continue this down? So we need to be very careful, trade carefully, and once it goes against your why, I say that often, y'all, get out, live to trade another day, right? So we are now looking at Tesla. Tesla closed at 394.36, which is interesting that we are at 387 for Tesla. We came down, and as you can see, I have this area 386.99. We came down to 387. We knew that we could possibly have trouble in this area. That's why it's so important to remember your support and your resistance areas, right? So is Tesla on this 30-minute chart presenting a bear flag? That is interesting, because if so, it's going to continue to decline based on the bear flag. And I always say, where are the trouble places? Going back to the upside, 390.42 could possibly be a trouble place. 392.73 could possibly be a rejection area, a resistance area. 394.18. If we break that, the ATR trailing stop as of now, 395.76. If we break that level, we have 397.16. And breaking that level, we can come back to this area here, which is another gathering spot, 599. 599.17. If we break the 599.17, we can come back to the area 402.02. I remember that, 402.02. And if we break that, 403.43 could be a trouble place for Tesla, and breaking that 404.80 could possibly be a trouble place. Now, to the downside, if by chance we continue declining, we lose this area of 387, we can have trouble around 385.0. Let's say 384.91 could be a support area. Again, at 381.68, 378.91. And if we break that 378.91, we could very well come back to 374.36. 373.20, 371.61. Those are support and resistance areas for Tesla. Y'all, I say trade carefully. Anything is possible. Nothing is guaranteed. Wait on confirmation. And again, once it goes against your why, get out. So we are now looking at AMD. AMD closed at 127.33. That was an interesting drop here. This is our 4 o'clock candle. Let's see here. This 5:30 candle, which is interesting for AMD. We had a nice little drop only to come down and find support at the I had 122.90. The low of this candle is 120. So that's not far away as our support area. So I always say, where are the trouble places? Something stopped us here for a reason. So if you're trading AMD today, I would definitely watch that or remember that area. Back to the upside, we could possibly have trouble here getting back above 124.47. If we break that 124.91, 125.69, 125.95, breaking the 125.95, 126.67. If we break that 127.37 and breaking that 128.01. If we break the 128.01, 129.24, 129.72 could very well be trouble places for AMD. Now to the downside, under the 123 area, we could possibly find support 122.64, 121.73, 121.46, 121.12, and 120.91 could very well be a support area or be support areas for AMD. So I would definitely watch those places. Again, not financial advice. There's possibly, this could possibly be an area of support and resistance. Let's go to NVDA today just to see where we are. We closed at 140.14 and NVDA came off of a nice high yesterday. So if you're in, NVDA and traded this here, that was a nice trade. So the high of this candle was 150. The high from yesterday was 153.74, and we came down to this 140, 139, 140 range. We traded there for a while. As you can see here, pre-market low as of now is that 140 area. So something has us, this is a support area for us for NVIDIA. So we definitely need to watch this 140 area. Now back to the upside, getting back above, I would say the 140, 142 area, we could possibly have trouble 140, 164, again at 142.92, 142.08, 142.42. And if we break that, the HER trailing stop as of now is at 142.77. If we break that level, 142.90, and if we break 142.90, we have 143.32. However, that 50 EMA is at the 143.16. So that could be very well be a trouble place for NVIDIA as of now. Now back to the downside, breaking under the 140.42 area, we could possibly find support again at 140.08. If we break that level, 139.72, 139.12. I would definitely watch those areas for NVIDIA. Today could be an interesting day considering yesterday it was a nice decline, and then today, it could find some support and move back to the upside, or it can continue declining. So I say so often that anything is possible. Nothing is guaranteed. Now we are looking at Apple. Apple closed at 242.21. Apple has been trading in a zone, as you can see on this 30-minute chart. That's why it's so important sometimes to zoom out to a different time frame, because looking at it on a smaller time frame, we see it from a different perspective. We just see it differently, right? So Apple has been moving sideways as of now. Support is around the 240.50 area, which I have the 240.21 as a support area. So we can bounce from here and move back to the upside. So where are the trouble places? If we break the 240.50, we can come back to 239.77. And if we break the 239.77, we can come back to 237.49. Now back to the upside. If by chance we break back above the level of 241.94, 242.40 could be a resistance area. 242.96 can be a trouble place. Again, 243.24, breaking that 244.10, and if we should break that 244.87 could very well be a trouble place for Apple. So if you're trading Apple today, I say trade carefully. It is just trading in a zone for us now, and it just broke out of that to the downside. However, we could very well find support and move back to the upside. So again, anything is possible. Nothing is guaranteed. Let's look at Netflix today just to see where we are. And it seems like Netflix has been trading in this zone, as you can see here. I have this level of 879.71 as support, resistance 883.27. If we break that 883.27, we could very well come back to the ATR trail and stop and have trouble around the 885.17. Breaking that 887.09 could be a resistance area for Netflix. If we break the 887.09, we could very well come back to the 888 from the high of this candle here. Now to the downside, breaking under the 879.71. This is a gathering spot for us. If we look, this is where price, has come to 877.65, just the low of this and this. 877.54 could very well be a support place for us, and if we should break that level, we can come back to 875.41 around that area. Breaking the 875.41, we could come back to 874.05, and breaking that level brings us back to the 872.24 area. If we break that 872.24 for Netflix, we could very well come back to 869.11. So if you trade Netflix today, I say y'all trade carefully. Again, it should be an interesting day in the market. And let's see, I think there was one inside day candle. There was, and it was USO. And I normally give the triggers for that, meaning if it break above this level, which is the 78.47, we have an upside target of 78.93. Now to the downside, if by chance we break under 77.69, we have a downside target of 77.08. And USO normally moves about $1.37 per day. Keep in mind that can be in either direction. So if you trade USO today, trade carefully. Let's see where we are now again with the SPY, just to see we're hanging at that support. Well, we had trouble here moving past this 5 EMA, that 587.93. It looks like we went up, got rejected, only to come back down. Now again, I would watch the 587.58 as of now, because it looks like we could very well continue declining. Again, anything is possible. The bell can ring and it can reverse really, really quick. Tesla is kind of like showing the exact same thing. That 5 EMA is going to be a resistance area, and yes, sometimes I use the moving averages as support and resistance, because as you can see here, price tests this area only to get rejected, right? So again, y'all, when I look at the market, this is what I see. There's so many different ways to trade the market, and what's interesting is trying to come up with a way or strategy that works best for you, and having the discipline to execute your plan, right? So I hope that everyone have a very profitable day, a very productive day today. If you could, please like, share, comment, subscribe, all of that good stuff, y'all, because we learn and we grow together. So until next time, be blessed as well as a blessing unto others.